Today, I want to talk about why making friends after 45 feels impossible. And by the end of this video, I want you to understand something that took me a long time to work out, which is that nobody is rejecting you. The friendships you are looking for are much closer than they feel. They are sitting one message away, and that message is not getting sent. Let me describe the thing first because I think you will recognize it. You go to church on a Sunday, people are warm, they know your name, they ask how you are, somebody hugs you at the door, you get in the car and then you feel fine. And then it is Tuesday afternoon and something small has gone wrong and you just want to talk to somebody and you scroll through your phone and there is nobody you can phone. Not because you do not have numbers, you have plenty of numbers. There is just nobody where phoning would not feel strange. That gap between being surrounded by people and having nobody to phone on a Tuesday is what I want to explain, because when you sit in that gap for long enough, your mind goes to one place. It goes to you. You start wondering if you are hard to like, whether you are boring or too much or too quiet, whether you have simply left it too late. And friendship is one of those things that close at a certain age, like having children or learning to ski. I want to take that off the table right now because it is not what is happening. Think about the actual women around you, not in general, specifically. One of them is walking through a family crisis that she's told almost nobody about. One of them is holding down a job and a house and children who still needs lifts everywhere. One of them is watching the money run out before the month does and doing the arithmetic every single week. One of them is caring for a parent. Everybody is surviving something. And when you are surviving something, you do not have anything left over for reaching out to somebody new. It is not that she does not like you. It is that she has nothing to spare. What you are reading as coldness is actually just captivity. And so here is what that actually means. You are sitting in a room full of women who all want the same thing. All of them would like a friend they could phone on a Tuesday. And every single one of them is waiting for somebody else to go first. Nobody is rejecting you. Nothing is being built. That's the problem. Those are two completely different problems and they have completely different solutions. Now let me show you the second thing because this one genuinely surprised me when I found it. There is a researcher called Jeffrey Hall at the University of Kansas who tried to put a number on friendship. He tracked people who had just moved somewhere new and measured how much time they actually spent with the people they were meeting, and then he tracked what those relationships turned into. Now here is what he found. It takes about 50 hours together before somebody moves from being an acquaintance to a casual friend. About 90 hours before you start making time for each other. And more than 200 hours before that person is genuinely close to you. He also found that not all time counts the same. Sitting near somebody barely moves anything. Working alongside them hardly counts at all. It is the talking and the laughing and the catching up that builds it. So let us do the sum on your actual life. Say you have coffee with somebody every 6 weeks and it lasts an hour and a half. Well, that's about 13 hours a year. And at that rate, you reach casual friends in about 4 years. Close friends takes the rest of your life. Now, I want you to hear what that means because it is kinder than it sounds. When you say you've been trying and it's not working, the honest answer is that you have not yet tried in an amount that could possibly have worked. That is not a verdict on your personality. Which bring me to the next thing, and this one is going to sound like criticism of the church, but it is not. Most of us carry an assumption that if you go to church, friendship will just happen, or at least I did. It is a room full of Christians, you are there for the same reason, so if you've been going for 2 years and you still have nobody to phone, you quietly conclude that you must be bad at this, bad at church, bad at people, something. Look at what a Sunday service actually is though. You arrive, you sit in a row, you face forward, you listen to somebody speak for about 30 to 40 minutes, you sing a few songs, maybe there's coffee afterwards, which is awkward, you greet a few people at the door on the way out, and then you go home. It is a beautiful design for teaching, and it is beautifully designed for worship. But it is not designed to produce friendships, and it cannot. You have been going to the right place and asking for something it was never built to give you. This is not a failure on your part. The room is doing exactly what it was made to do. So where do the 50 hours come from? When my husband and I moved here, we knew nobody, not one person. And the thing we learned, and I would say this is the single most practical piece of advice this whole video can give you, is that the fastest way into a community is to join a church and then to join a small group inside that church. Because a small group is a completely different room. It is the same 10 faces every week. You sit in a circle instead of a row. People use your name. You hear what is going on in somebody's life, and they hear what is going on in yours. And you come back 7 days later and pick it up again. That is where the hours are. Every woman I have had coffee with in this last 6 months came out of a room like that. Every single one. And if you are not in a church and there is no small group where you are, the principle still holds. It has to be weekly, and it has to be the same people. A book club, a walking group, a class, a serving team. Weekly is that part that matters, and the same faces is the part that matters. A monthly event will just not do. But here is the thing I have to be honest about, because I've watched plenty of people join a small group and stay lonely inside of it for years. The room is the raw material. It is not the friendship. Which brings me to the last piece, and this is really the whole video. You have a lovely conversation with somebody after group. You are both a bit reluctant to leave, and one of you says, "We must have coffee sometime." "We must have coffee sometime" is a kind sentence. It's not an invitation though. Nothing has been arranged, nobody is responsible for the next step, and both of you drive home feeling warm about a thing that will probably never happen. What works is a message with an actual day in there. Are you free on Thursday morning? That's it. A day and a question. And then when nothing comes back, one more message a few days later. That second message is where almost everybody stops, because it feels, well, desperate. It feels like you are chasing somebody who doesn't want you, and the last thing you want is at 48 to be the woman who cannot take a hint. Now, I want to tell you what the research says about that fear, because it's one of the clearest findings I've come across. A team of researchers ran 13 experiments with nearly 6,000 people. They put people in two roles. Some of them reached out to somebody in their life. Some of them received the message, and then they asked the sender to predict how much the other person would appreciate hearing from them. The senders were wrong every time. In the same direction. People consistently underestimated how much their message would mean. And the effect was strongest when the contact was unexpected and when the two people were not that close to begin with. So, the exact message you are most scared to send is the one that lands the hardest. And that silence you have been reading as in disinterest is almost always just somebody with nothing left in the tank to go first. Now, I can only speak from my own life here, but I want you to have this. Every single time I've sent that second message, the person came back to me. Not most of the time, every single time. It has never failed once. So being the one who initiates is not desperation, and it is not weakness. It is the only thing that breaks a standoff where everybody is politely waiting. And that brings me to the part that I nearly left out of this video, because it will still be nice if somebody reaches for me first. I do the inviting, I send the message, and then I send the second one. And it works, and I'm glad. And underneath that, there is still a small quiet wish that one day my phone would go and it would be somebody saying, "Are you free for Thursday?" Now that feels like something a grown woman should have outgrown. So most of us never say it out loud. And I think that it's a mistake, because the wish does not disappear when you bury it. It turns into resentment. And resentment is what makes a woman stop inviting anybody at all. So here is what I would do this week. Get into a room where the same people show up every week. If you are in a church and there is a small group, join it. If there is no small group, find whatever weekly thing exists with a fixed set of faces. Then pick one person out that room. Just one. Choose a day. Send a message with the day in it. And if nothing comes back in a few days, send one more. That's it. That is the whole thing. A room and a second message. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope you will join me in the next video. God bless.